Hello, welcome to Diary of a Creator. I am Victoria, the soul led career coach, and this is a space for ambitious, freedom seeking souls like me who refuse to settle for the ordinary. So, if you are feeling stuck in a life or career that no longer fits, you're starting to question your path and you're craving something more freedom, more fulfillment, more joy, then you are in the right place. And if my content resonates with you, I would love it if you could like, share, and subscribe. It just helps me to reach more souls who need this message. So today I am speaking to my third guest, Fiona, who is the owner and founder of the Soul Hive. Okay, so welcome, Fiona, to Diary of a Creator. Lovely to have you on today. How are you?
I'm great. It's good to see you, Vic. Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. We can clearly tell we're in very different climates right now. If you just want to start with a very quick introduction for everybody, so just your journey from corporate into your solo business.
Yeah, so I'm Fee. I'm the founder of a business called the Soul Hive, which has been running for about a year and a half now. I have 20 odd years in marketing and advertising in agencies and client side. In March 2023, my role was made redundant. I was comms lead in a futures division of a Big Four corporate, and I absolutely loved it, but it was completely out of the blue.
Mm.
And I left with a decent pay packet, a commitment to myself to never go back to corporate again.
Mm.
And that was a big thing for me because I'm a bit of a bouncer. I have left corporate for good 4 times before. So this was a real test. Can I stick it out? Can I build a business, follow my dreams, make money, and live the life of freedom that I desire?
So, of the four jumps that you've done, what were the reasons behind those four jumps?
Pretty much all the same. The first one was in 2015 when I did an Amazon FBA course. I met a friend of a friend who had really excelled in it. So it's e-commerce, selling physical products. She had gone from zero to $1 million revenue in 12 months. She became a bit of a legend in the space because we were all at that stage going, oh, can make $1 million in 1 year. That's amazing. And of course, it wasn't as easy as that. But that's where I learned so much from. And that business was expensive, buying physical products, shipping them around the world, all of that. So then I eventually had to put that one to bed and went back into corporate. It was another redundancy and then contracts. The other times were contracts ending and me starting a business.
And what's your drive this time to stay out of corporate?
This time I have learned so much. I've been there, I've done that. I know how hard it is and also how easy it is to set up a business. I've had businesses, my activewear company was actually one of the easiest I've had. The momentum I had was off the charts. So it's a passion. I don't want to go back and work for someone else. I don't want to sit in an office all day with people. I don't want to commute. I've got a puppy now. I like to be at home. I live by the beach and I've spent a long time working for someone else. So now it's time to really honor this decision, this commitment I made to myself.
Yeah. I kind of found myself in a similar situation where you didn't dislike what you actually did. So, working with marketing, messaging, communication, how does it feel different in your business doing that in corporate to doing that within your own business? And it is soul led, obviously, because you're working with soul led entrepreneurs and all of that.
Well, I say the first time I left corporate, set up the first business in 2015, I was working in a place that I really disliked, that was toxic, it was heavy, it wasn't me at all. So that was a kind of an escape plan. But the last time around, I was in a place that I had manifested. I remember I got that job after doing a new moon manifestation, reading this thing out every day for months. And then this amazing job appeared out of nowhere. So that was a job I adored, but the universe then was like, this is it. There was also a really fascinating story of how that redundancy came about after a plant medicine ceremony. To me, it was like, this is a message. Okay, I'm hearing it now. So And that was the reason I called it the Soul Hive, to support soul-led entrepreneurs to really follow their path
Mm,
and believe that we can all follow our purpose and do this. We don't have to work for someone else. We don't have to
mm.
waste decades doing something you don't want to do.
Yeah. And it's interesting. Do you think without the redundancy, you would have left?
I don't think I would have, because I was on a really good salary,
Mm,
had all the perks that you get, the holiday pay, the bonuses, and a large amount of money just dropping into your account every month. I actually worked with really great people in a beautiful modern building,
mm,
near Circular Quay. So I loved it. And I think if there hadn't been the global redundancies, I would still be there.
mm.
And
Yeah.
maybe I would never set up anything else. People have got their bills to pay and mortgages to cover and their lifestyles to fund, and it's safe,
Mm.
or they just don't believe they can find something better or easier.
It's a tricky one. I feel the soul has a way of when we're not listening or following the path to eject us, which is kind of what happened to you. And it's happened to a few other people that I've said where it's almost
Mm.
you're not given any choice. I wonder how it comes about for others. But you are right. Coming out of that place of security and the stability is a heavy ask. How have you managed that process coming out of quite a lot of security and enjoyment in that role as well?
Probably as badly as I could possibly have managed it. I'm not even funny. I was lucky I had the buffer of the redundancy package.
Mm,
I went traveling for 3 months. I did cut down my lifestyle a lot, stopped eating out, didn't buy clothes, that kind of thing. But like I said, I had gone to India for 3 months, got my yoga teacher training, then I'd gone to Bali for a month, and I wasn't slumming it in Bali. I was staying in nice places. And then I came back and had a two-bedroom apartment in Manly. Things that I would have done with hindsight is I could have rented out my spare room at that point, and that would have brought in some income. Perhaps get a part-time job,
mm,
which I have mixed feelings about because it can hinder your full process to freedom. So 6 months after leaving, I had spent quite a lot of the funds traveling, but upskilling as well. I bought web design courses and I invested in myself a lot, but I was still paying a lot in property and lifestyle. So what I would suggest is get income coming in as soon as you can. Don't do what I did.
I've got a similar message. Don't do what I did either. It's trying to keep the same lifestyle up, but being practical, I guess. And so, with your business now, how did that path into that business become clear to you?
It's a similar path to what I've done in 2020. Even though I've been in marketing for 20 years, I've been client facing. So I've been account director, senior marketer, those kind of roles, never the creative. But I'd always had this call to be the creative, like a designer. In 2020, I was working at Westpac on a contract, and obviously the start of the pandemic, there was a lot of nervousness. So that contract ended, and I was like, right, I need to make money. I went onto a Facebook group with a lot of women business people. I advertised myself as a WordPress designer and I got 6 clients straight away.
Wow.
So I kind of muddled through with that. This time around, I knew that I could do that and I knew that I liked it because for me, web design has got the mixture of the artistic, the design part, the practical, the science, the strategy. It's got kind of all the elements that I love.
Yeah.
That's how I did a lot of thinking, a lot of planning
Mm.
when after my job ended. I discovered Show It and some courses around Show It and was like, this is the perfect platform.
Yeah.
I'm
And
all in.
your websites are amazing. Good
Thank
that
you.
you leaned into the creative because I look at them, I'm like, those are amazing.
Well, that's one of the reasons I love Show It and creatives do, because you can do
Yeah.
anything on it. Now I'm hearing with the world of AI that we're in, you can
Mm.
put in some details and get a website in 30 seconds. But there's a backlash. This is the human backlash against AI, where we're now looking for imperfections.
We really are coming into that era, aren't we?
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's coming quick. So, back to your business. Did you hit any moments where you've wanted to give up?
all the time through every business. And if you run a business and you haven't, then I would say you're lying. I think businesses have highs and lows. And it's very common with the creative brain to go all in, like you might grab a whole load of clients, be busy, and then you deep dive in your business, you come up and you've got no pipeline at all and nothing coming in. So I've had a lot of that. Still now, I get months where I can have a big month and then I can come out and go, I've got nothing in the pipeline. And then I have to figure out what to do.
Mm.
And that can be scary. It's hard on the nervous system. And those are the days when I miss that paycheck that just appeared magically every month. And I didn't have to worry about stuff.
Yeah.
And having a team, being able to delegate to people and get them to do things. At the moment, I'm still solo. I
Yeah.
don't even have a VA.
Yeah.
So that can be really hard.
Yeah.
And it feels like there's a never-ending task list, which there never is.
Yeah. It's the cycles. What gets you through?
I think coming back to freedom, gratitude, I have a morning and evening gratitude practice where I take a moment and I'm grateful, particularly for this life that I am living, because I don't answer to anybody. I don't have a calendar filled with meetings, which I used to do from 9 to 5, most of them pointless, just sitting there, yeah, talking to people, sitting around tables with things that just do not light my soul on fire. Now I have the freedom to work with who I want to work with, create from an absolute point of, I've got clients that trust me implicitly. It's like a white space.
Yeah.
So it's the total freedom.
Mm.
My days are my own,
Mm.
and I really value that now.
Yeah, and I think Peter Crone's the first one that speaks it, or the quote that comes to mind, but you can't have freedom without courage, and courage is going to require discomfort. I think I definitely underestimated that on the journey. I think it was a lot more than I had anticipated, but you've been kind of in and out with businesses, so you're probably quite familiar with the up and down.
I am a very high risk tolerant person. Not
Mm.
everybody is. I have the freedom to be because I don't have kids, a partner, or a mortgage. I'm not tied to anything. So I'm in a
Yeah.
fairly unusual position where I can take high risk because I just have myself to think about.
Yeah.
So I embrace change. I've moved countries times back to the UK, Bali, Australia. I started businesses, worked in corporate, worked for other people, done many industries.
Mm.
And that's because I believe there's always something better, I think, always seeking, and then
Mm.
realize it's not from somebody else, it's from me. I have something I can put out and give, and I have something
Mm.
other people need. So once I
Yeah.
started believing that, I stopped kind of chasing other people, and the fear dissipated.
Yeah.
And
That's
yeah,
beautiful because that's really what the soul ed is trusting that what's within you
mm.
that you put out, those that come to it, they're the ones that are meant to find it.
It's taken me a long time to get to that place where I'm not fighting. I used to have not screaming matches, but be really angry at the universe and being like, you kicked me out of this job that I loved, and now everything's really difficult, and seeing difficulty in everything, as opposed to now it's like, well, the universe really does have my back. This is for my highest, maybe not highest timeline, but it's definitely a higher timeline. And I absolutely have a gift that people need. And I've got really, really good at it. And, this is where it's all about putting yourself out there and looking at it not from a point of view as your business, but it's your offering. So, what are you offering to people? What do people need? What problem are you solving? That has completely switched the way I think about it, that I'm helping people grow their businesses as opposed to my business.
It's funny because I've been reflecting on what you're saying recently. It's a saying, if you're serving your ego, you're not serving. When we're running from my business needing the attention for the validation, it's the ego. When we're serving from the soul, we're putting out our gift, knowing that people need it. It's a totally different energy.
And I think that also explains why so many of us in this line of work find social media difficult.
Yeah.
See it as this egocentric, look at me. Whereas it is, I have to really remind myself that again, it's value. What value am I adding? What am I offering to people? What problems am I solving? As opposed to, oh God, I need to do another reel. And the ego thing is going, I don't want to put myself out there. But I think it's a fine mix of the two.
It is the intention behind it, I guess, but it's hard to not have the ego come on board. So, what have been your most significant lessons in stepping into the soul hive?
I think the biggest lesson is just do it.
Mm,
Launch before you're ready, start before you're confident, get going before you really know what you're doing. It's not fake it till you make it. It is literally just do it. I procrastinated a bit. I spent probably 6, maybe even 9 months before all I was just playing around with brand names and I couldn't decide whether to be a personal brand or set up a name and all this procrastination. Whereas what I should have just, instead of all of that, is just go, what am I offering? And just put it out there.
mm,
And that is the mistake that I see everybody make. The first thing they do is try and create a logo and it's the brand. And then they spend weeks, sometimes a lot of money on a logo. And so it's like, that's the last thing. You start from the other way. You just, how are you going to help people? What problems are you solving? How are you going to help? Just start doing it.
mm. Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think procrastination comes through quite
Mm.
sneakily at the beginning, where it's not that you're not doing anything, it's just that your focus is on the wrong task. Like I, at the beginning, spent 2 months building a website and I hadn't even launched anything.
That's also very common. I still do it occasionally because I love technology. Big fan of different softwares and stuff. I spent 6 months deep diving on different tools to use, looking at these all-in-one platforms and going deep into go high level, thinking this is going to change my life and my client's life. And it isn't. That's not my core business or my offering. Stop trying to solve everyone's problems and go back to what you're really good at.
Mm,
And to me, it was very simple. There's only 3 offers on this one platform for my website, and that's it. Then you can expand on that.
yeah, that one's key. That is a good piece of advice. And so what have been your highlights?
In this business, some of the highlights are I'm really proud of the work I've produced.
Mm,
And that's come from investing a lot of time and money in the right tools and courses and practice and seeing transformations. I transform people's lives. I actually do. There are people that have gone from having terrible WordPress sites and it's just, just looks shit to this absolutely beautifully branded site that screams them. And, one of them in 5 days had like 500 new visits, her podcast went off the charts, and it was just like seeing results like that.
mm,
But it's also the confidence it gives people when you actually get out of that procrastination phase.
mm.
You see, because we all do it. And I'm the worst at doing it for myself, rebranding again and trying to build my own website.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of that. People are out of this spiral of trying to save money, do it cheap, do it themselves. And then a month later, they've got it and it's all done. And it's just the biggest relief for them.
Yeah, and would you say a lot of your work as well is because a website is a way to communicate your soul voice or your soul message. So there's also that element to it, is helping people to actually show up.
It's a
Mission.
lot of that. I mean, the website is raising awareness. It's a glorified landing page to promote yourself and contain all your information. But it's you and it's yours and you own it. Everything else you do sends people to this portal where the really what you want it to do is get people to go, wow, this is me, I'm home. You're
Mm,
allowing people to self-identify with it or not. And that's where your messaging, your tone, and if you have beautiful copy, it can make or break it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it should feel like your home. It's a nice way of looking at it.
Yeah, I like that. That feels good. And so, what are your future focuses for the Soul Hive?
Well, for about the last year, I have had on my to-do list build a template shop. Have
Ooh.
I done it yet? No. But my new site will be launching soon. I'd say definitely in the next week. A template shop is on the horizon because at the moment I'm doing custom and semi-custom sites, which is still time for money. I build them all in a week, 2 weeks max. The template shop will allow me greater financial freedom and
Mm.
also allow people to purchase a template and update it themselves. That'll be a lot more economical and easy. And I've just launched a business strategy call as well for people that aren't yet ready to build a site and they're like, I don't know what to do. It's a kind of open container, 90 minutes, and I help coach people through where are you at? Let's get the
Mm.
first step done.
Yeah. And it's a definite evolution with the business, so trying to move it towards more time freedom. At least one thing I've noticed is when I started, I was just like, career is the only purpose. But then you move into it and you go through the soul led path, and you're like, actually, a lot of things in my life are purpose, and I want time for all of that. So it's about freedom, really, at its core.
It's freedom in every sense, but it definitely isn't for everybody. I'd say it's a harder life than if you get into a career you like or you're in a role that is always employable.
Mm.
You can bounce in marketing PR roles for decades and do okay. And if you've got genuine passion, then great. Most people I've come across in corporate do not have a genuine passion for anything.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it gets quite heavy because people are just there for the money and on this treadmill. Whereas when you bounce out of there and do your own thing, you start to open up and meet a whole world of people that have taken that leap and they are a completely different breed. And you learn to let go of so much else. To me, it's about really just sitting down and listening to what fires you up
Yeah.
doing.
And so on your path, what have been your biggest sources of support or encouragement that have helped you to keep going?
One of them is definitely I joined a program for web designers. It's called Becca Luna. And I mean, she's now got about 7,000 people in her circle group. So in there is a really good community. From that, I've met a couple of people and we support each other. We all do the same thing. What's interesting is lots of people now in the exact same industry doing the exact same thing, even with the same niche, are
Mm.
collaborating and supporting as opposed to competition. Because
Yeah.
that's the old energy where it'd be like, you do the same thing. Whereas now we bring each other in and support each other and we chat and we might do podcasts or lives with each other. So that's been helpful. And also, I have a group of entrepreneur friends locally. We get together. So really, you've got to find your network and your support. Because I did spend a time where I was just at home on my own, day after day, head down, trying to work, and then getting more anxious and being in my head the whole time.
Mm.
So you've got to get out of your head.
Yeah, I've had a very similar experience. I think it was the support network. I couldn't have done it without it.
Mm.
If you're
Mm.
not surrounded by people that are moving in the same direction as you, it just becomes very difficult.
If you surround yourself by people that are still in corporate or have still got a 9 to 5, they will never understand what you're going through. Very few people do not take a massive financial hit doing this. There are people that go from full time to maybe a part-time role, but nearly all of them, certainly to start with, forget about their dream and focus on their part-time role. So if you go all in and you are committed to your business, it's a very everything about the mindset, the mentality, the hours you work, everything about it is different because you're building it up. I don't even know how many hours I work in a week, but certainly every day. A lot of the time it's all day Saturday, especially if it's a rainy day, I'll sit and work because to me it's not working, it's creating and it's a different energy.
Yeah, I've met people who have done it differently. Some have even been doing it while they're still working full time. I
Mm.
think it all boils down to your nervous system because I was building as I was full time, then I went to part time, but I was barely working. So that was kind of working. Jumped out, nervous system freaked out, went back to freelance, but very, very light freelance. It's so interesting. I'd say that's been the crux of the lesson is around the security. And I know you were saying when you started and jumped out, it's a tough one.
Security is key in looking after yourself because if you get to a stage where you can't afford rent or bills or food, it's the most stressful thing ever.
Able to
Whatever you
create.
can. Yeah. And you can't create from that sense of lack and fear.
Yeah.
So I mean, I tried when I started Amazon FBA, I was working full time. And I am just one of these people, I cannot do both. I
Mm,
cannot go and work for somebody else, come back at 6 p.m. and then open up my laptop and then work. I know
mm,
lots of people can. I can't do
mm.
that. I have to, it was too
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I ended up moving back to UK during that to live with my sister, basically for free, so that I could focus on it because I
Mm.
couldn't sustain working and setting up a business. But
Yeah.
I think you find your risk tolerance and you find out what do you need to live off, what's
Mm,
the minimum, and then do what you can. Some my friends in this space went and literally went waitressing or
mm,
got a bar job or went and got any, like a marketing coordinator job when they might have been a marketing director. But it's just something you can do to cover bills.
yeah.
And yeah, your ego will take a massive hit
Yeah.
when you're being a boss and leading teams and walking around in your heels looking good and having people do the menial work and then suddenly you're doing it all yourself. It's harder.
And you're learning too. Like, I think it's very much sold on social media, like instant 10K months crap, or like come out of a 1 month coaching course and you can work with people with trauma. And
Mm.
there's this instant gratification language that is coming through, but no CEO walked into a CEO role as a junior. Why do you think you're going to automatically be an expert or completely thriving at the beginning? There's like a period where the trials and tribulations are what grow your, what's the word?
They lead to your success. And I don't believe you
Yeah.
can have success without failure.
No, I agree.
There's a lot, I think, like all of us, we go down the YouTube black hole and there's yet another 22-year-old kid who's like, hey, I'm on 100K months and this is how you do it.
Mm,
You follow my strategy to $1 million. And that can get more and more depressing. But when you look into them, and there's one guy in particular who's sort of English, lives in Dubai. Somebody went and did a deep dive on his story, and it's built on lies. When he says, I went from 0 to 100K at 18 in my first year and bought my mum a house, they go back and say that's not true. And I think there's quite a lot that are now successful, but when they started, that's not the story that actually happened. It's easier for them to go back and go, this is what I did. Now I made this much money.
mm,
But in reality, those stories are not helpful to anyone.
no.
I'm a big believer in when you go to someone who is so many levels above, like if you're trying to learn off someone who's built $100 million business, that is
Mm,
very different when you're at 5K months or even just a zero trying to start out.
bizarre.
I'd be saying go to the person who's making 10K months consistently and learn off them because that's the nearest leap.
Yeah.
And then you level up and go to the person who's making 50K months and see how you scale. And I think they say you only need to know 5-10% more than the people you're teaching. So then you can teach down to people and bring everybody up.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that can lead into procrastination too, because I feel like the people that have built their skills up, the ones who actually have the credentials and need to help will talk themselves down. The ones who don't tend to talk themselves up. And this is this dangerous game where I think discernment is becoming very critical, particularly in terms of who you want to draw into your sphere to help you. Because I've definitely been burnt along the way, but I've learnt through being burnt as well. So it's Tricky one to navigate.
There's also, I think, some innate confidence thing because it particularly affects women, and particularly
Mm,
women
true.
towards their middle years who've got 15, 20 years solid experience that somehow come out of it. And all of us, me included, think, I'm not good enough. I can't. It's like if I look around my entrepreneurial circle, every single woman is going, I just don't want to put myself out there. I don't want to be on camera. It's like, but you've presented in board meetings. You can present to 50, 100 people. You've been up on stage. You can do all this stuff. Why is this so hard? Men don't seem to have that problem a lot of the time. I don't know if it's innate or trained, but there is a missing gap to bring particularly women up, see it as a platform to help to problem solve.
And it's such a wound with women. I don't like labeling it, but it's almost the witch wound of being seen in your power. I was the same. Like I could present in a boardroom, but when I first got online, I was like, what? You're not putting yourself in front of a boardroom, you're putting your knowledge in front of a boardroom. So it's like a mask. Whereas when you're doing soul led, it's you.
Mm.
It's more you than it's ever been, which is why it's so confronting because it's you.
But then again, if you flip that and you go, let's take Instagram for example, a lot of people going to struggle with that. And I know it's the whole, what will people think? It's your platform to do whatever you want. And actually, that opens up the freedom where you can go, this is just an extension of me. And
Mm,
it's a way of attracting people and growing the awareness of what you're offering that we never had before social media came along. Like it was so much harder to get, it's not about getting famous, but getting your message out. And now we can literally have all these different channels that we can totally own and do whatever
mm,
we want on it
mm.
to bring in the right people. So
Yeah.
that's how I'm trying to look at it. Any minute now, I'm going to start my daily reels.
I've done a reframe on it as well. Instead of it's me making a reel, or like it's not even about growth. It's just I go into a circle of the women who will come into what I'm building and I tap into them. This is for you. I don't care. This is for you. It's flipping from the ego not wanting to show up to showing up because it's not about you. And the moment you make it not about you, it actually just becomes so much easier.
And I think that's a key lesson that goes back to the people whose problem you're solving
Mm.
and your avatars. You get your one or two key avatars, and it is their problems. You speak to that one person and only that one
Only
person.
one person. That one's key.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Mhm.
So, to wrap up, any words of advice or wisdom that you would want to give women who might be at the beginning of the journey? They might still be in corporate, they might have leapt out already like us, but still in the discovery phase. Anything that you would want to share with them?
The first thing I do is cover yourself financially. Take that stress away from you.
Mm,
Don't think about the ego. A lot of time I thought I was too good to get a waitressing job or a cafe job or whatever it is, or go on Upwork and take some your lower paid job. I would cover yourself financially to pay the minimum so that you take that stress away. That is
mm,
the first thing. And then secondly, just start.
mm,
Just start. Don't worry about the name. Don't worry about the logo. Don't even really worry about your branding. Just
mm,
think about what do you love doing? What problem can you solve? And just do it. Reach out to a few people and start. And from that, you'll start getting testimonials. You'll start proving to yourself you can do it and
mm.
covering your expenses. And you will start drawing the right clients. Everybody does it the other way around, tries to build this fancy thing before they're ready.
Yeah.
Just do the thing you like doing, get your basics sorted,
Yeah.
do it.
And the one thing, because I know you've touched on it a couple of times, and I know it's how you really kicked off, is your network
Mm,
and the
mm.
importance of going out to your network of people that you know and putting it in front of them and opening it that way as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I've been very fortunate in a way that my target market is all of my friends. I haven't done any marketing really. I'm rarely on Instagram at the moment. I've been fortunate that people come to me, so it's all been referral based. My network has been key, and my reputation through that has been key. I've actually set up a referral program as well, offering a generous referral fee to see if that works. So I am trying lots of different things to tap into that network.
Yeah.
But definitely finding people and staying in touch with people you know that have had that dream or
Mm.
about to do it. Let's find the people and then use that network.
That's a key one. One that I definitely undervalued, and I wish I hadn't have undervalued it, particularly coming out of a corporate environment where I knew that 80% of the people there hated their job. I didn't realize the importance of networks at the time.
Yeah, if I was to do it again, I would have done that a lot sooner, a lot earlier, joined more networks and gone to more business meetups and stuff for people.
Yeah.
And that
Even,
might be easier. The other thing I'm tapping onto is collaborations. To start with, I was doing a lot of reciprocal agreements where I might charge half price in return for whatever this person's offering. And I still do it today if there's certain things like, my new client that I got yesterday is also a really successful business mentor and coach. So with him, I've said, right, well, we'll work out a fee structure where you don't pay me full price, but I want to tap into your business mentoring. So you can do exchanges as well. It doesn't have to be all financial. Use other people's skill sets, and that way we can help each other grow.
yeah, and that's really the energy, isn't it, of the soul ed is we're all growing in a
Mm.
hive or a network together and holds a different energy, a different space. We might appear like we're doing similar things, but we're all showing up as ourselves.
Well, funny you should say that because that was the original name of the Soul Hive, is a community, and it was
Ah,
to bring everybody together. The original plan was to do a course and a membership, and that may happen at some stage, but it's to the back burner for my creativity. It's holding hands and bringing each other up instead of standing at the top and pushing other people down, which is the old way.
that is the old way. That old way is dying slowly but surely.
The old earth is crumbling rapidly.
It's crazy. It's having a loud crumble, but
Well,
hard not.
isn't it? It's the last gasp of the old masculine energy
Mm,
before we head into the new earth.
yeah, it's very, very interesting times. Well, thank you so much for sharing your journey. That was amazing. You're very bold, very courageous. I didn't realize you'd had so many jumps. It's inspiring.
Can read all about it on my new website. I've
Okay.
done all this story because I had forgotten about that. It's been 10 years of trying,
Yeah.
failing, going back, starting again, and that's it. If you don't try, you don't succeed.
And if you don't fail, you don't succeed. People need to know that before they come in, as you are going to fail.
And
And
failure isn't bad. We're trained from school to think failing is bad. When you were tiny and you put up your hand to get the wrong answer and you'd never put your hand up again. But
yeah,
failure is one rung on the ladder to success.
yeah,
So,
100%. Not an easy lesson to move through, but like, yeah, it's one of the greatest personal development journeys I've been on is the business. It's like coming up against your ego almost every day.
interesting. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm going to share all of your links into the episodes so people can come and check your websites out if there's anyone in that space as well. I love your website, so I'm going to have to reach out when the time comes for mine. A
Awesome.
refresh, my rebrand.
Can't wait. Thank you. That was really fun.